and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So, folks, I'm ready to make your evening terrible. I'm ready to make you guys feel angry and sad. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I going to make you guys feel sad and angry? Well, I'm going to bring up our good friend, Bernie the Cuck Sanders. Boy, oh boy, I had a lot of respect for this man at one point. And look, let's be clear here. He did inspire a lot of us, especially those in independent media, to do what we're doing now. All right, Bernie Sanders did that. He did inspire us to get involved more. But once again, I have to wonder whatever happened to the fiery passion that was Bernie Sanders taking on corporate media, corporations, the special interest groups in Washington, D.C. Now he's just a sheepdog and just being a good little boy, because today I withdrew my consideration by the U.S. Senate, my war powers resolution, after the Biden-Harris administration agreed to continue working with my office on ending the war in Yemen.
Well,
Daniel,
if they say they're going to work with you, I mean, we basically ended the war. Everyone pull out a beer. The war in Yemen's over.
Which is not the case at all. Now, again, I have to wonder, Bernie, you tweeted this out yesterday. Your good friend Joe Biden has not adopted a single one of your policies, even after you went to bat for him during the 2020 primary, the general election, and throughout all of 2021, ignoring forced to vote, March for Medicare for All, the 3-day General Strike Summit meeting, being weak and feckless, as the fight for 15 was, well, thumbs down all the way by not only Kristen Sinema, but 7 other U.S. Democratic senators. So there you go, Bernie. Bernie, Biden promised to do something about pardoning student debt, which they didn't follow through on. Women's reproductive rights not being followed through on. Hell, even when the Democrats were given that month-and-a-half notice by the Supreme Court leak that they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, Democrats did nothing but, hey, oh, wow, like a good little boy, you're going to trust the Biden-Harris administration to agree to continue working with your office on ending the war in Yemen. God, what a nutless wonder he is. So I want to pull up this article here from Politico. It came out earlier today. The votes weren't there for Sanders' resolution. So Senator Bernie Sanders didn't withdraw his Yemen war powers resolution Tuesday night just because of guarantees from the White House. He simply didn't have the votes. Lawmakers, congressional aides, and activists supportive of the measure told the National Security Daily. And in a statement explaining his decision, Sanders said, the Biden administration agreed to continue working with my office on ending the war in Yemen. President Joe Biden's team was opposed to the measure and lobbied against it, citing concerns that punishing the Saudi-led coalition, which earlier this year agreed to a ceasefire that's tenuously holding, might cause bombs to fall again. So, folks, again, the Saudi-led coalition, remember Saudi Arabia, it has a lot of influence over our U.S. lawmakers, especially those in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Postponing the vote to working on compromise legislation then was worth it to Sanders, not to fight back. And if it didn't pay off, he vowed to bring the resolution up for a vote again in the near future. Does that sound like confidence to you, Daniel? I'm going to take a no from that one. So there you go.
Do I even have to say anything?
Hold on. Here's from a big fighter here. Ro Khanna says, the votes weren't there. Who worked closely with Sanders on the Yemen War Powers resolution in 2019, told National Security Daily in a Wednesday interview. It was going to be close. We weren't sure, and Sanders didn't roll the dice last night. Hassan El-Taib, a pro-resolution lobbyist at the Friends Committee of National Legislation Anti-War Group, there was uncertainty and no guarantee he had them. Sanders' office and his allies on the measure were counting votes until last moments, and in some cases urging reporters to press senators on their stances, but the picture started to darken for the Vermont lawmaker once it appeared both Democratic California senators would vote no. Wow.
I told you, we're not in a good timeline yet. We're still not at rock bottom.
Nope. Nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. But here's something I want to pull up here, and I find this interesting. I'll pull up this little tweet here from the Libertarian Party. Shame on Bernie Sanders for caving to the White House by refusing to call for a vote on the Yemen resolution. Just as we said before, we're proud to be America's only anti-war party. If you want to end these senseless, horrific wars, you have to vote libertarian. Well, all right, libertarians, keep it up. Well, maybe, get on the ballot more and, actually, start showing up and doing something. Maybe that would be a case. But here, the Libertarian Party is calling out Bernie Sanders for his failures. I also want to shout out to Socialist MMA, Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network, who tweeted this out. It's a retweet. Let's pull this up here for our viewers and subscribers. Bernie Sanders destroyed his reputation these last few years. What a sellout. Bernie Sanders caves to White House pressure. There will be no vote on the Yemen War Powers resolution. What a coward. So let's talk about Bernie Sanders. Obviously, his heart's not in the game anymore. He served his purpose as maybe an inspiration for us earlier on, but this man is clearly defeated. And so long as there are people, especially those with influence, those who are pundits, those who carry water for the Democratic Party and the quote-unquote progressives and the Justice Democrats, brand new Congress, our revolution, DSA, thinking that somehow it's going to change things, it's not. We have to address the fact that Bernie is a failed individual. And we need people to really call out all these quote-unquote pundits, people like TYT, Ryan Grimm, Majority Report, for what they've done. And that is they've halted any real criticism for Bernie. Daniel, I want to pull up this video here. Before I do, I just want to get your thoughts. I want to share them with the audience here.
I mean, what can you say about this that we haven't already said in a previous video? That it's like, if you look at where we're at right now and where we started, there. All that Bernie's done is climbed up a linear flight of stairs. He's every time we cover him, he's given up more and more of what he said he stood for in 2016. I think he gave up. I think he's like, I tried, and then I didn't work, and then I tried again, and then I gave up, and I gave up both times, and now I'm gonna be here. No one's gonna vote me out.
I want to read this super chat from Marvin Vargas, who wrote, "Make promises, break promises, collect donor money." And I think right now Bernie's just all on board with that. So how do I brighten everyone's mood at the end of this very depressing story that we've covered? I know RBN was talking about it too, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy Dore will be talking about it too, how much of a nutless, spineless, heartless bastard Bernie Sanders has become. So here's Kshama Sawant calling out all these pundits and individuals who have been carrying water for people like Bernie Sanders, the Squad, the Congressional Progressive Caucus. So enjoy this. It's a good palate cleanser, and I think maybe we can get some joy out of this.
But maybe the workers don't want to be part of this fantasy play.
What the actual fuck? We on the left, I'm not talking about people like Ryan. I mean, those of us who genuinely want to defend working people, we have the obligation to call out both elected officials who have betrayed us and also the labor leaders who have betrayed us. I don't know how much Ryan actually knows about the labor movement. I have been a rank and file member of the labor movement. I've been a delegate to the Labor Council. I have spent 10 years as an elected representative. Nobody in their right mind, Ryan, maybe despite being a political analyst, you thought that the Senate, there was any chance of the Senate voting yes on a paid sick leave bill? Yeah, Ryan Grimm doesn't worry me. The workers who are listening to this understand that he's engaging in sophistry and he's completely misrepresenting what I said. The truth, though, is it's not about Ryan Grimm. It is about people like him. We cannot trust people like Ryan Grimm. Ryan Grimm says, never let politicians out of your sight, while at the same time defending those same politicians who have sold out working people. I would say to working people, never let politicians out of your sight, but never let people like Ryan Grimm out of your sight. Politicians couldn't sell workers out without the Ryan Grimms of the world defending their betrayers. Politicians rely on the left cover of people exactly like Ryan here, making the rounds, making excuses for vicious attacks on the working class. Not only that, but turning around and accusing fighters for workers, socialists like myself, as somehow being against workers. I've seen this all the time in Seattle. If the Democrats on the council weren't given cover by people like them, they would not be able to do what they do, which is sell workers out over and over again.
You got knocked up.
So that's how we have to view people like Bernie Sanders and the squad and everything else. And I want to pull up this Rockfin super chat too. Resolutions have no law involved in fulfilling them. They are useless as any promise made by a politician, especially those who are experienced liars and hypocrites. And yeah, people like Bernie Sanders, people like the squad, Democratic and Republican lawmakers, they are all professional liars. They're there to lie to you. They're there to cheat. They're there to once again show you that they're scumbags, and don't hero worship these individuals. They're not there to fight for you. They don't give a damn about you. They don't respect you. And as far as I'm concerned, I think I want to shout out to Connor B, who tipped $1 on Odyssey. The slapping madness never ends. And of course, it'll never end so long as we give cover to these lawmakers.